Hey, Mark.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hey, Luke. You guys got me, Mark?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh. Oh, there's Carl. Hey, Carl.
Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Oh, okay. I had to log back in for some reason. I got a weird screen. It was a login type screen. Anyway, hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
So just the three of you guys. Oh, there's Tom. That's good. I know Kendra is might be a couple minutes late, so.
Okay.
And I haven't heard anything from Brad. I don't know about Brad, so.
Oh, we have a quorum, we can start.
Yeah, I'm in.
Clear some stuff out of the way. Okay, call to order. I see no pictures or voice messages from the public, so we'll close that section of the meeting. Approval of minutes from the June 19th meeting. I would entertain any changes, corrections, modifications, selections. Can I hear a motion for approval?
I move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second it. This is Mark.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Golf operation and financial update.
Yeah, so golf operation, I mean, things are moving along as planned. I will say that June, it was the first month in a while that we did not meet or exceed the previous years, right? And we are definitely down in July. We're seeing trends that the construction is 100% having an effect on things. The renovation is certainly having an effect on things. And then also with us having to close the golf course to provide safety for the renovation workers, has an effect. I mean, we're trying to keep it as efficient as possible within the information that we've received from Golf Creations. But we also accounted for this, right? So I feel very good about the budgeted numbers that we had for 2023. So I don't have any concerns for that. It just was, I don't want to say sad, just for the first time in a while, right? So that.
Not every year is up.
Yeah.
And frankly, given what you've been struggling with weather-wise and construction-wise, I personally think you're having one hell of a good year. So.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, Tom. I agree with you. I mean, you think of all the air quality issues that we had in June, and then this last week of rain, and we had 2 Wednesdays rained out in a row from leagues, and I mean, we're very healthy. This is no surprise. It's just I'm giving you guys an update.
Appreciate it. You want to jump into the financial update, or was that it?
That's about it. I don't have any. I'm trying to be patient with the finance department because I know that it's budget season for them and they've got a lot going on. But I do not have numbers through the end of June.
Okay.
Okay. I was going to ask that question. I didn't see any financials with the,
I figured you'd ask that, Mark.
Hey, Kendra. Yeah, no financials through June, unfortunately. So, you know, I know what our revenue numbers are, and we're fine. We're doing just fine revenue, but it's expenditures that I don't have, and that's what, as you, Mark, can attest to, that's pretty important. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to, like I said, I'm being patient, and I'll probably reach out to Bill after a little bit here just to see where they're at. So, hey, Kendra.
Hi, sorry, I'm having, not on Wi-Fi, but
problem.
my fall off. That's my problem. Allow Zoom to, no. Okay. Hi, sorry, I'm at a baseball game, so I'm in the car.
Ooh, where were you? Were you at West Middleton?
Or
I
no,
was
West
just
Madison.
there.
Oh, no, we're at West Madison.
Oh, West Madison. Okay.
Yeah.
I stopped by my son's baseball game for about 4 minutes in hopes to see him bat, but I did not get to. So that's okay.
That's the word.
That's all right. Okay, so Kendra, we were just talking about operation and financial update. You know, nothing too crazy. We're definitely seeing, you know, the ramifications from the renovation, right? A little bit slower than we historically are accustomed to, but nothing we're surprised about. So
I got a tongue-in-cheek question today from somebody I play with occasionally after the don't walk on the new seating message went out. He said, yeah, but who pays for the ball I can't get? I thought, yeah, you gotta be kidding. He obviously wasn't.
Does he buy them in bulk like we do? Because we lose the money.
Well, I'll happily dig one out of my bag, but it won't be a good one.
Right. Same here, Tom.
So, you know, people can access the golf balls via the sod, right?
Right.
And okay, is there going to be that one or two that unfortunately plugged? Sure. If somebody's ever upset, they can. I've always been very open to staff that just give them a golf ball. Let's get them a ball, right? So if there's somebody that's
It'll be the
really
same
upset,
one, Jeremy, it'll be the
What's that?
same guy that as a kid signed his name in the cement.
which is why when people say those things, I really don't pay too much attention.
You got to laugh with them or at them.
Yeah.
Okay,
used to laugh at
safety
those
concerns.
things.
There's been a lot of noise on this one. I think our objective from the last meeting was to make this issue apparent.
Wait, okay, I'm sorry, just to clarify here, Tom, we're done with PV Road and course
Oh,
renovation
right.
update?
Oh, did I skip one?
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me.
Okay, so any other questions on the golf operation or finances?
Nope.
Okay, all right. So PV Road, you know, as you guys all saw, Blackhawk Road and South is how you access our driveway, right? I really have no other updates. I know that they're gonna close the ability to access Pleasant View Road, Highway 14, I believe, starting on the 24th for the entire week, but it'll have very little impact on Pleasant View Golf Course. Renovation, they're moving along really nicely. Obviously, the massive monsoons that hit did play a little bit of parts of some delays, unfortunately. You know, the washouts. I mean, I don't know if you all saw it on the greens. We would have the greens floated, and floated means that we like kind of shaped and contoured how we wanted it, and then unfortunately, then there's 2 inches of rain, right? And so they got a little bit behind just from Mother Nature, but all in all, it's moving along nicely.
Well, the rest of the course probably appreciated a drink.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
I mean, I'm really sorry that all the changes got back up a little bit, but I'll tell you, they look really good.
Yeah, they do. They do.
They look really good. All right, now I think we're down on safety concerns on location of multi-use path. I had contacted Kendra. Carl contacted Kylie, that's Parks.
Mhm.
And I also contacted John Schaefer, who is pedestrian, biking, and something else. Now, I have not heard back from John, but he did say that it was a concern of theirs from a previous meeting. I'm sorry, a concern of his from a previous work on the planning committee. So we have a lot of attention. Now, what can be done, I don't know. Today, Kendra sent me some stuff today that I could finally open. And one of those drawings showed a very clear dump right onto our access road. So it's been out there. We're gonna have to deal with it. Carl,
Yeah, no, go ahead, Tom. Sorry, I spoke over you.
no, that's fine. Mark, what do you got?
After last month's meeting, I have league on Tuesdays, so before my league time last month, I actually parked my vehicle down there and did a walk around just so I could get a better visualization of what's happening there.
Mhm.
And to your point, Tom, on that concern there, that path certainly looks like it's just going to abut, is the word I use, abut right into the driveway. I mean, that's should be a huge concern that you're flowing pedestrians onto a driveway. But I don't, everything I've heard from Jeremy at previous meetings and whatnot as reminders is that we don't own that driveway. That's the city's driveway, is my understanding.
That's true.
So there's really not, we can't make the city do anything. I think the focus of our group, and it sounds like it may be, is that we just have to have it become an awareness thing that we are concerned about it and something should be done. I mean, it would be great if we would have a suggestion rather than just complaining. Not that we're complaining about it, but I certainly don't want it to come across that the committee's complaining about it, rather just making an awareness issue out of it. And I mean, what can be done? Probably putting a walkway or a pedestrian walkway all the way up to the trailhead. I don't know if that's the correct word for it, but the trailhead of the bike path and running path or whatever it is there. So I just wanted to give the committee my 2 cents on it. I did do
Yeah,
a
no,
little
I
bit of
appreciate that.
homework after last month's meeting, just so I had a better understanding of what the heck was going on and could see it
Well, I
in
think, Mark,
person.
I think the tone I took was we were trying to raise awareness of how serious the safety issue is.
Mhm.
So at that point, I wasn't upset. I was, let's say, kind of in teaching mode.
Yeah.
When
And I
discovered-
certainly am not making that statement that that's what we're doing. I want to make sure we're not doing that, and just saying, hey, this is a concern. And if we're doing that, great.
Well, I'm a little more upset now because the city allowed 14,000 plus to lapse after they got a DNR grant to put a bike path in there. So they had a chance to fix the problem a long time ago and did nothing about it. We can say, well, that's government for you, but somehow it seems like they could come up with another probably 18 to 20,000 now given inflation. Anyway, it's beside the point. Carl, what have you learned?
Mark, I took exactly the approach that you just mentioned. It's a great concern, and ideally, a separate path that would lead up to the trailhead next to the parking lot is what we believe as a committee would make the most sense because of the safety issue.
Mhm.
And Kendra, you might have heard from Kylie on this as well. She said that you also reached out to her, and she had mentioned a message that maybe Sean had sent. Sean, and so did you? I didn't get that email, but did she
No,
send that
and
to you?
Yeah, I apologize. I forwarded it on to Tom, but I did not copy you on that, Carl. And
Oh, that's okay.
and I will forward it to you after this meeting so that you can read it. It's basically just the background that Tom is mentioning now of
Oh, Okay,
'Cause I was under the impression that there had been plans at one point to do a bike path, and at one point there was. It was the one that Matt Amundsen had discussed back when he was still here, the one that had the grant that they turned down. Or returned because it didn't. I'm gonna meet with Kylie to get the whole backstory.
okay.
And a little bit of it is in Sean's email. But he had just basically given the backstory of what had been the plan at one point, what had happened, and where we are now. And everything that you guys have said up to this point is exactly how I understand. Right
Mhm.
now, the plan is to dump that bike path right onto the road. So my hope is that I can meet with Kylie and with Sean and see what our options are. Part of the problem is because the quarry is so close. The property line is really tight. So we're gonna have to really think about, as a committee, what we need to think about, and what I need to know is what so ideally, I understand a separate bike path would be what you want. I don't know that that is physically possible. So next best thing would be a good idea to be able to bring forward to them and start talking about. Is it widening the driveway so there's a bike lane? I mean, that driveway is not wide enough to begin with. Sometimes you get two big SUVs going side by side, and it's a little dicey.
Yeah, it's a little tight.
So yeah, so I like, I really hope that we can come up with something, because I agree, it's a safety issue, it's an access issue. So if we can come up with our next best solution to having a separate bike sidewalk / trail, we can start that discussion too.
I hadn't thought of the possibility of enlarging the road, and that would be at the city's expense.
So.
Short
but-
of that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Chairman.
So south, though, we don't have a lot of room.
Right,
I'm talking
Yeah.
like a foot.
Yep. I
yeah,
know.
then right at the corner, it's incredibly tight.
So,
Yeah.
so here's what Matt and I, when we were knee deep in this back, gosh, hard to believe it was 2014. We were debating on could we potentially cut that hill at the corner down so that the road actually,
Right.
it's a little wider at that point, right? Because that's where the pinch is in relation to the quarry owner and City of Middleton. And then as you continue further west, it does widen up a little bit where a path is feasible. So it's really that corner, right? And so the trouble is we got to get earth movers in there. I mean, that's not like just a little tiny, that's a pretty sharp drop. And then you're going to have a retention wall in there probably of some degree. And it's a large expense. And at whose expense, I don't believe it should be Pleasant View Golf Course, because we're not asking for the pedestrians to be out there. But that's originally what we were looking at, is could we potentially move that driveway at that corner, move the apex of that corner further? It would be southwest to allow for a path to go in there for fence and our property. That was really the only pinch point. And then
Okay.
the other thing is, they keep promising about this path for pedestrians. I'll give you an example. Last night, so we had a big golf outing yesterday, and I'm out on the course picking up signs, and I saw this guy walk, parallel with the driveway, and I'm like, okay, where's he going? Kind of one of these intuition, like, what are you up to? And lo and behold, the dude is walking on the golf course, picking up balls right in the middle of the fairway as public's going out. And it's these little things that it's just unfair, right? And I'm to the point where I just want to call the police on these people and not give them warnings and issue citations. But then now we're wasting Middleton police time for just really petty stuff. But these people do not have direction. They don't know where to go. And I'm just disappointed that they're building this monstrosity of a bridge. And I don't know the full story. I don't know the whole context. But they do not have infrastructure for Pleasant View Golf Course's facility. to manage the people that are inevitably going to come up there. And it relies solely on Pleasant View Golf Course staff now. And that's what's frustrating.
So ideally you're thinking, so, I mean, I don't know. That pedestrian sounds like somebody who, I mean, I don't know.
But Kendra, they don't, this is every day. They don't know where they're going.
Okay, well, but I don't think that, it's not that they don't know where they're going. The guy was just like, why would he pick up golf? I don't understand why he would walk onto the golf course and pick up golf balls.
There's no trails.
Well,
There's-
that I get. I just think that
There's no, hey, the path goes this way. This is where you're going, right? You go to Pheasant Branch Conservancy and it's like, oh, wow, it's clear as day where you're supposed to go.
Okay. I
Clear
get
as
what you're
day.
saying. So are you wanting a fence to separate it, or you just want signage and a clear path? So you
I
want
wanna
something
I want to
separate?
understand what their mission is. I want to understand where are they going with this and what's the timeline? So
Okay.
that we as Pleasant View Golf Course can plan appropriately. Because right now I have no idea.
Let me tell you what I
don't-
think. I
Okay.
think that this bridge is a holdover from when the initial plan was to push the driveway all the way west to the cross-country facility. Remember, they were going to try to build a road for at least emergency access. And I think this is a remnant of that. You know, what they'd ought to be doing is negotiating with people further north from us for bike traffic to the new trailhead. So here's a suggestion that might make this possible. I saw one drawing that had the path dumping directly onto our access road, but a second path, the primary path that actually went south parallel to the roadway.
I
So-
thought
so-
that was, yeah, okay. Go ahead, Tom, sorry.
So suppose we totally remove the dump onto the access and we fence that corner in cooperation with the cell tower people. We put up a chain link fence.
We're gonna get heat from the bikers.
Do we care?
I mean.
No, what did I
It's
do?
easy to say
I'm
that
not being
when,
flip here.
when, it's easy to say that when I'm the one fielding those phone calls. You know,
But
Kylie's
Mark,
not fielding them. We all,
Jeremy,
you know,
the bikers were supposed to move to the new trailhead.
I know, but those that live down in Greenway or, you know, those apartment complexes down below, they do bike up there and utilize that.
Well, then they can bike down the path, running parallel to the new road, and bike all the way up the access road, still get where they need to be, and we can at least handle the foot traffic.
I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. They could do that.
So we haven't really blocked them. We didn't
Yeah,
make
that's-
it any closer.
That's
I mean,
true.
It's a stupid bridge.
Before anything went in, or I was just talking to somebody over the weekend about how they just go out to 14 to get over to CXC with all the construction going on. So I don't,
Well, and Kendra, full disclosure, we have signs that say, don't park here for trail.
yeah, I heard that too. Okay, so two separate issues, the pedestrians and the bikers. The pedestrians sounds like it's much more problematic.
They just don't have direction. They
Okay.
just need direction. That's all they need. some direction.
Okay, okay,
The bikers have direction because they know that that's their trail, right?
Right.
Now,
Okay.
the thing with the bikers are, we're very happy that their new trailhead is not located at Pleasant View Golf Course, right? And that needs to remain because we just don't for all those cars. And I don't know how well or not well that those signs are received, Kendra, but that's our stance. You know, like that, you don't park at McDonald's to go to Culver's, right? Sorry.
Oh, I like it.
Well, now, I mean, now that there's a parking lot out at the CXC, it doesn't,
Parking lot, and they've got the pump track going in, they've got,
Yeah.
infrastructure going in.
right?
That's
So
where
at
they,
this point, this point, okay. So the pedestrian stuff is more of a problem. All right. That is good to know.
yeah, it's not solely about bikers. But no, the trouble is that is still a dangerous corner when the bikers, if they did come out there, that is still dangerous, right? That doesn't alleviate the safety concerns.
Mhm.
But
But
to
unless-
Tom's point, it would, or suggestion.
If we don't fence that, if we were to sod it or shrub it or something, they'd go right through.
Yeah,
So that corner went, and part of it's going to be chain link anyway, because of the cell tower right next to it. So I say the city's got an option here, a very cheap option. Put up a chain link guardrail and says, has some signage on it that talks about no foot traffic allowed heading west on the access road. People won't pay attention, but at least they've been warned. And the bikers are going to use it anyway, and they'll happily drive south to come north.
yeah, I don't know about, yeah.
Well,
Now
maybe not
they're going,
happily.
now they're going, okay, I gotta go down the hill to come up the hill to.
Yeah,
I could've
that's
just
right.
Gone right there, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, look, I think from my standpoint, I just want others to know that we are concerned about the safety of people, right? I don't want somebody to get hurt. I really don't. And I don't want somebody to frankly be trying to go home and they clip somebody and feel bad. Like I want everybody to feel safe and welcome and all that good stuff. But so I think we're doing our due diligence of letting other people know, other committees know that this is a concern that we have. And it's not just about keeping people off the golf course. It's literally about their safety. And then I think the secondary thing, Kendra, would be, directing maybe some signage, even directing where should these pedestrians go, because you should see them. They walk around and they're like, where do we go? I mean, they and then what they'll do is they'll go up the cart path thinking this is where the trail is. And lake, I kicked 2 people off the other night. Like, can I help you guys? Oh no, we're just going for a walk. I'm like, no, you're not. not out here. As people are coming up, playing golf, coming up, right? So they need direction.
Okay.
So
Okay.
is there anything in addition to what we've done so far, Kendra?
No, I think it's just a matter of, now that I hear that it's what the concerns are, and from this committee's standpoint, that will help discussion, and I'll figure out, because I mean, Bike Ped Transit Committee, just so you all are aware, is basically a subcommittee of all the bigger ones. Like there's somebody from Public Works who sits on it. There's somebody from sustainability that sits on it. There's somebody from the Planning Commission who sits on it. So it's basically what their job is to take the concerns of bike peds and pedestrians and branch them out to all the parts and other committees in the city. If this committee is interested, we can ask to be a part of the Bike Ped Transit Committee, just to have somebody sit on it for the interim. It's also a committee that you guys are welcome to join and make comment on at any time. I will definitely get this in Opitz ear. This is a Mark Opitz area, as well as parks. When you start talking about bikes and pedestrians, there's a lot of different parts of the city that kind of touch on it. So it's a matter of figuring out where we want to find the money and how we're going to address this and how it's all going to fit together. So we'll just keep pushing through parks and through planning to, and this is a little bit of Public Works in the fact that that's the road. It's part of the road project, right? That caused this problem. So there's a little bit of that involved too. So it's just trying to figure out how to get all those people on the same page and deciding what the best course of action is. And now that I know that the biggest concern because in my head, I still was thinking bikes because that's always been what the ongoing problem had been for so long. So now that I know it's more of these walkers, which, you know, with this new pedestrian bridge might be the new bike problem for this, for the golf course.
Yeah, and Kendra, and I think
Well,
that's the reason why we're bringing this up, right? Is because
Yeah.
I see the trends and
Yeah.
you put a nice bridge that leads to, and I believe the bridge, you know, I keep saying leading to Pleasant View Golf Course. That's not entirely true. It's also to service it back towards Greenway, you know, so that the multi-use path can access, go across Pleasant View Road safely. So it's not just to lead to Pleasant View Golf Course, but you know, inevitably that's what's going to happen, right?
But I had thought the design had included a sidewalk on that western side of Pleasant View.
On the eastern side. So there's a sidewalk on the east side and a multi-use path on the west side. Yep,
On the west
correct.
side. So, and how are they like, and so that just figuring out that connection and the fact that it wasn't thought through besides using the access road, we'll figure something out. We just have to figure out how it's going to get done.
Yeah,
And
and
a short-term solution. So we have some signage to direct people where to go.
Right.
yeah,
And
I
remind
mean,
them that it's a
you
golf
know,
course.
we could put up stuff like, hey, watch for incoming traffic, things like that, you know, be mindful of traffic. I think those are really good, easy suggestions to make. Part of me just wishes that somebody else would take the initiative on this, because this is not Pleasant View Golf Course business, right?
Well, and that's fine. And it's just a matter of bringing it to their attention, which is what we'll do. So we'll just
Yeah.
keep pushing this forward and making sure that the city knows that,
Yeah.
you know, I was telling Tom the other day, I feel like the golf course is a fantastic, like I've said from the beginning, I think it's a gem. It's very few municipalities have something like this. And the fact that we do, we need to take care of it, and we need to make sure that it's, you know, not prioritized above everything else, but like it deserves consideration by the whole city. And it sometimes kind of gets forgotten about because it's not the airport problem. It's not some of these other, you know, it's not a problem. So you guys are in a
Well,
position though, I think we can ask and hopefully get the assistance that you guys need to make these things work.
Especially now that we're paying in lieu of taxes.
Yes, yes.
Good point. You
So
know,
I think you
I
guys
think
are in a good
before-
position to ask for what you want. So let's do
Right.
it.
I think before we kind of had to tread a little bit lightly, right? But now I think, yeah, but this is more again about safety, right? So,
Mhm.
and Kendra, to go back on the bikers, the biggest concern that we had with the bike community was parking. And that's been fantastic this year. They really have. I think the signs have helped. I think that the construction has helped, and it just has taken away pressure from staff. And frankly, it's nice now that you don't drive in there and there's a bunch of guys sitting there, you know, with t-shirts off and going, what are we doing here? So I think it's really nice that the way it's been so far this year.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that that's helped.
And the
And now-
bikers, as far as just so that you're aware, they've been nothing but great on the trails. I don't have any issues with them going on the golf course, although we had to kick one guy off, but that, call it an anomaly. For the most part, they know exactly what to do. They have direction.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll continue to work on this. I actually have some meetings set up this week with a couple different people. I'm working on getting with Kylie, and I have one with Mark hopefully by the end of this week. And so we'll just continue to work on it and hopefully get something soon. So
Andrew, if you need help or people in person, give me a call.
all right, we'll do, Tom. You and Carl, I'll definitely make sure I loop you guys in. I apologize, Carl. I'll send you what I had from Sean.
No problem. And one more thing, Kendra, I've been in touch with Mark Opitz on this already. So
Yeah.
This goes back a couple of months, but I gave him a heads up on it. So he probably knows, he knows about it. So.
Yeah, and he's been on some of the other emails too. So
Right.
yeah, you're right. He does know. So we'll just have to keep nudging it along. We'll get it there.
Great. Any
Thank
other
you for bringing me up to speed.
any other discussion surrounding this item? Hearing none. Let's take a look at the budget. Or we could just say, let's pass it.
Well,
because
can
we've
I
all had a
run,
chance to look.
let me run through, let's do the easy one first. Let's do capital. How's that sound?
All right.
Okay,
Okay, I mean, relatively easy, but give, now, remember, here's the plan. We have to submit this, August 18th, I believe, off the top of my head. Ideally, I would like to have one more golf committee meeting, maybe like, be that Monday before we have to submit it. All right, so that you guys give the final blessing on it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna vet this throughout the next month to make sure I didn't miss anything. I feel like I've got it pretty decent. And the numbers are pretty accurate, but I want to vet it. And I have not done that yet. So this is my draft. But let me just go through my thoughts, if that's cool. And then with the understanding that we're not going to approve it tonight, but we are going to approve it in August so that I can submit it in to the finance department by August 18th. Does that sound fair?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen so that we can just kind of talk together. All right. So the city has asked us to plan out for 5 years, which you guys are all pretty much aware of. But let me go through what I'm thinking. So we have the maintenance building addition. Right now, we're working with Blake from Parkitecture to create design work, trying to figure out how much this is going to cost. As of right now, I genuinely don't know. I'm just going off of a guess. I'm hoping to have this number finalized within the next few weeks. All right. We already had an initial meeting with Blake. He knows that this is on the radar. So TBD on this. I had it at 500. I did up it to 605. So I upped it 100 grand, and the extra 5 grand is design costs. That 5,350 is contractual design cost. Monument sign in here. So I don't know if we're going to spend any money this year on the monument sign. So this might just be a carryover from 2023.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So clubhouse master and EV cart plan. So we've talked about this, that if Pleasant View Golf Course wants to move forward with EVs, we need to have who's getting feedback here? Somebody, I don't know who that was. I can't tell. All right. So if we want to move forward with an EV fleet, we have to build an infrastructure, right? So we're looking at options. We're looking at options here. So this is just design work to prepare for, or maybe not design work, but the master plan to prepare for what we need to do in 2026. All right, because our fleet, we have to have a new fleet in 2027. Now, initially, and this is just whispers, so don't take this to heart. Initially, we're debating on putting a cart barn over the current putting green, moving the putting green over behind number 9 Lake Green, potentially expanding the back patio a little bit, which then will alleviate storage issues because we'll have downstairs and all that good stuff, which is where you're getting that $1 million number in 2026.
got it.
And again, this is where this committee, we need to figure out if this is the direction that we see Pleasant View Golf Course going, right? If we stick with gas carts, I'm not making suggestions. This looks a lot different. Okay. So then let me explain the practice facility master plan. So we have seen, since COVID, an abundance of golf balls go into the number 1 fairway of Lake, into the gully, into the woods. And with our architects out there, I was expressing concerns, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we need to do a study." I started looking at, I started reaching out to netting companies, and I've been advised by multiple people, do whatever you can to not put netting up there. Let us look at this first netting is super expensive, and you think like it would be $1 million is what I'm gathering to net our facility. And then, you know, we're damaging Pleasant View, right? Pleasant's View. So, you know, what I've been advised by architects is let's do whatever we can to figure something else out before you move forward with netting. And the only way to do that is for them to do a study. And that's why I have that in there. And then golf course master plan. We do not have a golf course master plan in terms of like bunker renovation. And this is just another idea that I had with the architects. You know, do you guys do this? And they looked at me like, well, yeah, we do this a lot. And I think that this is really wise for you to do. Not saying we should, it's just an idea right now, okay? Capital reserve study, the 1035, that's our capital reserve study, right? And you saw the proposal that I sent you in the docs. So that would be going off of our current reserve study and just building off what we've done. And I'm hoping to do that next year if possible. Any questions on that?
So it looks like 700K in 24.
Yep.
Jeremy, I don't think there's anything on your plan that you should remove.
Well, hold that. So hold that thought then, Tom. Okay, if you don't mind. Does anybody have any other just generic questions on what I just stated about 2024?
No.
Okay.
Good.
Then 2025, right? We need to start getting. So remember, 2023 we did not do any equipment. 2024 we're not going to do any equipment because of the maintenance building addition. 2025 we need to get some more maintenance stuff on the docket, right? So we have fairway mowers, rough mower, greens mowers. Now to give you an idea, everybody, this green mower is an EV green mower at $100 grand. If we buy a brand new one, a hybrid, it's 60. So just food for thought on that. They are very expensive. Okay. And again, and Kendra, like this is if we want to get on board with the city's plan, that's fine. But boy, there is a cost associated with it. In a big one.
Yep.
Okay. But I'm putting in right now $100 grand, and that would be, these three would be replacing, you know, Woods, Prairie, Lake, eventually, right? Okay, I apologize, my kids just got home. And then we've got just bunker renovation. Okay, no, I might have to move, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, never mind. They're going up. What do I have here? Oh, practice range redesign. I don't know what that looks like just yet, so I just put that in there. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And then parking lots. Yeah. What I think we need to start doing is just doing some patchwork on the parking lot occasionally, as opposed to just. So originally I don't know if you guys remember in the reserve plan, you know, redoing the whole parking lot all at once. I don't know if that's the best thing for Pleasant View Golf Course. I don't know how we're going to do that. So. So these are just ideas that I got. Then in 2026, greens mower, you know, the standard stuff, and then the clubhouse master plan and clubhouse and EV master plan. Geez, I got to reword that. Okay, that $1 million. 2027, pretty self-explanatory. And then 2028. These are just things that are on our docket. You know, the staff and I talked briefly about an irrigation upgrade in some of the old holes. And then, you know, clubhouse interior. And then we also need to think about patio furniture. So these are all things that we're looking at. Our patio furniture, believe it or not, is, you know, it's coming up on 8-9 years old already. So look at these numbers: 708, 860, 1.1, 430, 2.3-ish, right? And then if I go over here now, whoop, not that one. I've inputted all of those numbers into this. You see like 2024, there's that 708. 800, so on and so forth. So this is what it looks like, right? I mean, and that's just, that's, actually, that might even be, hold on, I might have tweaked this. 860, yeah, that needs to be 860 and then 1.1, but you get the idea. Yeah, 1.1 is in there. So I'm missing 60 grand right here, but look at what it puts to our cash reserves at. And that's after debt payments done at 2025.
Are you trying to share another screen, Jeremy? I'm still seeing the
Yeah, we're
original.
still seeing the capital improvement.
Yeah,
Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
no, that's all good.
We were kind of following you though. No problem.
There we go.
There we go.
All right,
Sorry about that.
nope, no problem.
So look at that right there. Now, again, I'm not, look, I'm not suggesting that we spend $1.1 million. I just want you to see what could potentially happen.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So what you're really saying is that the reserves could go as low as 50,000, but be at 600 the year following and over $1 million the year after that.
Yeah, but Tom, you look at this. I only have 350 in capital.
Yeah.
So that's not going out past the 5 years. I haven't done anything there, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Got it.
So if you want irrigation in here,
right.
that changes things.
So Jeremy, are you saying like if this was planned and we, you did want to go through with this, that you need to find, you want to increase revenue somehow, right? To keep those cash reserves up? Is that what we're kind of getting at?
Not necessarily. I'm just not necessarily, or we rethink, the clubhouse master plan is
Okay.
a fleet of EV carts where we want to go. These are just things I need you guys to start thinking about.
Got it.
So, like, for example, if I take, why do I have 800? Let me see, what was the 800 again? Oh, the practice range redesign, right?
Right.
And
Yep.
and the reason for that was, frankly, for safety concerns. But if I sit here and I take these out, yeah, I mean, our financial picture sits a lot different. This is what I'm proposing for next year, right?
And I think it needs to be done. Because what you've got for next year is planning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You get done with the planning, you have a better idea of how you're going to move forward, when you're going to do it.
Yep.
So you buy and participate in planning and come back to the committee and explain to us what you want to do and how you want to do it.
Yeah. The maintenance building is definitely one that we need to get done, right? That has to happen regardless. It's time. But the range, I don't know what to do with the range, but let's hear out what the professionals think what we should do, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good idea.
I really don't want to net it. I really don't. And so I want to try to figure out a way to not net it. And then let's continue gathering options for the EV. I'm not saying that there's a lot of benefits to going to an EV cart fleet. Number one, we have more control over the carts. I would love that.
Well, and what was your projected year for that? 2026 or 27?
7.
7.
Yeah. I mean, that's, you know, even just the number of EV vehicles coming onto the market and the number of companies that are coming out with things are changing pretty quickly. So there might be a totally different picture even in 2025 or 26 on availability. And I understand the infrastructure is basically what you're talking about being the cost, but it might be a different picture by the time we're looking there. So I agree with Tom, you know, putting in the planning now, starting to forecast a little bit, and then just being nimble as those years come to be able to find ways to make it work.
I couldn't agree more. I think that, you know, I don't know what the technology is going to be, but that 1.1 million or $1 million, that was strictly infrastructure where what would change is in this number up here, this for operating expenses would go up because EV carts are more expensive, right? So that would have an influence on the operating expense.
Right. See, and the fact that you're taking that into consideration, that's being planful and mindful of that possibility. So if we just keep going in that direction and keep planning for it and thinking about it, and then being prepared to make a decision as it comes, I think the most important steps are the ones that are going to come in the next year as far as the planning.
I would agree. And we don't have to take action on, but I guess the reason why I want to share this with you all is because, you know, there was a comment made and I Tom, I get it. You know, we put zeros in here, right? And that those numbers look very healthy. You're going, oh my gosh, right? And so, yeah, then we go, all right, should we reduce this stuff up here, this, you know, the revenues, but that's, I don't know.
Jeremy, in response or in reply, or maybe just to make my position clear, I have been and will always continue to be a huge supporter of keeping this golf course, growing this golf course into the most spectacular muni imaginable, while somehow keeping rates affordable to the run-of-the-mill Middleton golfer. And it's a tough balancing act, I understand that, but you've done well, you've done exceptionally well. So my concern on rates is that we don't do so much so quickly that we have to put rates up to, you know, to a semi-private or a daily fee sort of course. I'm not against raising the cost or raising the fees. I just want to make sure we always keep it within reach. And you've done that. And you've made a lot of money doing it for the course and now for the city. That's my position on fees.
Yeah, you know, and my response to that is, I mean, guys, I look at this daily, right? I look at what other people are doing, what other people are charging, and I act accordingly, right? We are right in par with everybody else. We're not over the top. We're not the highest. We're not the lowest. We're right in the middle.
So that's a good place to be.
Yeah, and I think the reality too is a lot of people don't realize how expensive things have gotten, and there is a sticker shock on 9 holes. There is a sticker shock on 18, but my gosh, you should see our fertilizer numbers. You know, it's crazy how expensive things are, and I don't know, it's costly.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. But I don't think the guy at the counter with sticker shock is thinking about fertilizer.
They're not, but
You know, he's thinking, you know, but Jeremy, with the changes that are coming to this course, once this stuff gets playable, it's still a huge value. I'm not arguing its value.
yeah, I know you're not. And look, I know the guy's not thinking about fertilizer, but that doesn't mean that we should bow down because of what they don't know, right? We've got to do what Pleasant View Golf Course needs to do to be sustainable, to be effective in its mission going forward. And I think that's the whole purpose of this presentation, if you want to call it that, is I just want this body to understand where we could or could not go, right? And this is what we need to start thinking about for the future, because in 2026, we will not have a TID payment. Theoretically, right? Barring some catastrophic thing that may occur, right? But that's the plan, is that we are done paying TID as of 2026.
Right.
And then you know that the city is going to want to renegotiate pilot. Right.
You're damn right they are.
And rightfully so, it's their course.
Of
right?
course.
Yeah. But they have to understand, if they want us to move forward with an EV fleet, if they want us to move forward with EV mowers, there's a cost to that. And I just want people to know that. That's all.
Well, and I've said this 100 times. You can never show the city too much free cash. So continual improvement is important.
Yeah.
Because if we don't spend the money and continually improve the golf course, the money will disappear and we'll never be able to even sustain the golf course then.
Right.
So it's important to make money and it's important to spend it wisely.
Just to reinvest wisely. I agree. I couldn't agree more. And to that point, Tom, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did increase, instead of being at 300 for capital on an annual, at 350. I mean, given inflation, the fact that we haven't raised it yet is pretty remarkable. So.
Yeah, I agree.
So, all right, let's move on to operating. So here was my goal ultimately, right? I thought the 2022 budget numbers were great numbers to go after. You know, I'm a little unsure of what's going to happen next year when it comes to coming out of the road construction. And so this was just my foundation to begin with, was let's do a reset back to 2022 and let's get to those budget numbers and see what it looks like. And you know, as you can see, we're looking at a $3.4 million budget for revenues, and then expenses. We're looking at well, that includes the 408. So if I take the full, because that would be under the reserves, right?
Right.
So if I take that out, well, you would see here. Okay, I don't want to mess this up, but you can see that we're at a deficit of $300,000, but really would be in a surplus of 100.
Yep.
Any questions on what I just said?
No.
And that includes the 450 advance payment. That includes the pilot, which remember is 3.19% on gross sales receipts. So that's where I'm getting that number at. And remember, we always wanted to be around $100,000 that we would put back into the reserve. So I'm very, very close.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let me just go through any like major. These are all just adjustments based on like it's just COGS, right, on revenue.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, this one was big because they didn't put anything in here. So that's why that decision item's huge, because there's no expense, which is not true. FICA, yeah. Why was I doing that there? Bear with me, sorry, I'm just going through my thoughts.
Mhm.
There's our fertilizer, our new budget for fertilizer.
Yeah, I
Now,
saw some numbers that went up pretty substantially.
In fairness, we did implement a fairway program, which is new. You all remember the fairways last year?
Uh-huh.
Yes, and how they had a disease. Yeah.
Yes. So that is a direct result of that.
Okay, makes sense.
This went up this 50K. So remember, because of renovation, we're only paying 400 budgeted this year to TID, but then we go back up to the 450 next year. And then this is a reduction because this year we budgeted for 621 out of our capital reserve, but we're not taking that next year. So which is why it's a reduction of 212. Any questions?
Not from me. I went through them all and
Same here.
Mark,
Looks good, Jeremy.
Good with it.
And like I said, I'm going to vet this. I'm going to go through this pretty heavily. Once I understand what July's numbers look like, I will come up with a better projection over here. And then it may influence this, but if it would influence it, I think I would go up and not down. So don't, yeah. But I feel okay. I really do. I feel like this is a really good budget, to at least a good draft.
any questions from anyone?
Good.
Okay, hearing none. Capital Reserve. But let me jump in for a second. Kendra, I don't know where your baseball game is at, but are we gonna lose you pretty soon?
They start in like 10 minutes. So
Because I want to hear, I want to make sure you have time for your council.
I'll be fine. This is this season that doesn't end. So okay.
Been there, done that.
Capital
Hey, Tom,
Reserve.
I don't know if there's a ton that we need to talk about with capital reserve. We kind of just talked a lot
I
about
think
it.
we just touched it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest one was just making sure you all saw that I got a quote from Capital Reserve Advisors for the reserve plan.
Yeah, good. I guess we're at the Common Council report.
Common Council report. I can't think of anything to report back on. Other than we're starting to talk about budget season. So everyone's sort of coming in on that. There's been no updates on the Pleasant View Road. There's been no updates on any other developments over in that area. So, other than there will be a new apartment building going in. Do you remember where Pond 1 and 2 are? It's on the south side of Greenway. That was approved. And they have also started, I mean, all of these are approved. It all depends on the developer doing everything they have to do to bring it all in together. But another one at Greenway Station between the brick building, I can't remember I can never remember the name of these developments. But there's currently 2 apartment buildings and they're going to put one in between them where there's currently a parking lot. So 2 new developments over in Greenway Station that have been green lighted and are going through the process of all that. Other than that, I can't think of any ordinance changes that'll affect. I can't think of anything else.
Hey, Kendra, no update on the Pleasant View Road apartments?
Other not since the last time I reported back on it and the fact that they got their SIP and they're approved.
Okay.
So I can ask Abby where they are in the planning and where the developer is and all of it. There were some issues that they were having between the company that was next to them. And so I don't know where that is at as far as when they may begin construction, if they've got that resolved.
Okay. So, what's interesting about this is this goes back to our conversation we had about the bike path, right? Or the pedestrian path. It's like we just heard 3 more, well, and 2 more apartments going down in the Greenway area, which that's going to just produce more walkers, right? Pedestrians up there. And then this one goes across. I mean, I really think we're going to have to do something to secure that. We're going to have to do something.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, there is definitely a lack of green space over on that side. And that is something that we're planning, Parks is aware of and Planning Commission is aware of when these are proposed and they go through the process of development. So I can't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to double check about where the additional green space is coming from these developments. But I can report back on that.
More apartments, more apartments, more apartments.
Tell you, Dane County, there is a significant need for it. We are the fastest growing. If you look at the maps all over the US, we have an incredible amount of growth. So there is a need for housing. There is a
Do you know
demand.
why?
Quality of living and startups. There's all sorts of studies going out and saying, most of the developments happening in Austin and places where these startups are going. But as far as in the upper Midwest and in the Midwest in general, Madison is very attractive for people who are looking for good places to raise families and to be, it's just a good quality of life. So, yeah, there's lots of different factors that go in. So I could point you to all the studies and all the stuff that they're saying, but there's been a lot of articles in the paper about the demand. If you just go on Madison.com, you see that Madison's growing and the demand there too. So it's all over.
But what I don't understand is why it's only apartments. I understand the density issue, but why are they not condos? Why is there Middleton grew rapidly like this in
Yeah.
the mid 70s. They threw up wood and brick everywhere, and now they're all slums.
Yeah, the condo thing is an interesting, developers don't want to build condos. There's no money in it. There's not as much money in it
Right.
as managing.
Better said, yeah.
As
Gee, given what I
managing.
paid for our condos, I don't think that's true.
Well, but the thing is now they're not their own. If they had been renting that over the duration of your ownership of that condo, they would have made a lot more
Yeah, well,
because they can raise those rents, and developers would
course.
rather have control over their properties than sell them. And there's certain things when you develop a condo, each unit has to have separate electricity and separate water, and
oh
it's
yeah, sure.
different, it's a different way of developing a property, and so it's
Yeah.
it's different. It's a different animal. But I get you. I wish everything could be a condo. But yeah, lots of apartments.
Next meeting date. Oh, wait. Next set of agenda items. I'd almost say on change. You certainly want to talk budget again because you
Yeah.
want approval. We're forever going to be talking about the road and renovation.
Mhm.
We may or may not have an update on dumping foot and bicycle traffic onto the pathway, onto the access road. But there may be an update to that, so we should pursue it. Anybody
Agreed.
else?
I think we can keep it as is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
All right, done.
So
Next meeting?
I would really prefer the 14th if possible. I know that might be a little bit on the quicker side of things, but that way that I can get this budget in front of you one more time for official approval before submittal.
I think I can do that.
Works for me.
That works for me too.
Yep.
And then
Okay.
please, if you guys could kindly, I know you do, and I appreciate your time and life's busy, but this one's important, right? So I need at least 4 of you on for this call.
Right.
You got it.
Thank you.
I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Ooh, but sorry, can I maybe make one more comment? And I do appreciate if you cannot attend. I love it. Like Kendra, I thank you so much. I might not always respond. I get 150,000 emails, it seems, but she shot me an email. Hey, I might be a few minutes late. It gives me an understanding of what to expect. So I really appreciate it. If you don't have an opportunity to attend, shoot me a quick email. That'd be great as well.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, Tom.
That's all right.
Are we
Um,
still a member short? Or have,
So-
I'm sorry, because I missed the last meeting. Do we have a full committee now?
No, we
No,
did
we-
not.
We're still one member short?
Yep,
Yes,
correct.
Okay. And I know you had said that you were hoping to get another woman on, correct?
I was.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think that's the general.
I think I don't have a preference. I think that ideally it'd be somebody that has some maybe golf experience that can provide insight, you know?
Yeah, well, I want a golfer for sure, but
Yeah, I mean, gender,
you know, that's part of the community too, and I would.
but I mean,
Okay.
like it's great to hear. I do like having like a female perspective on a lot of things too, you know,
Right.
from a golfer. I really do. I think it's really wise. So
You know, as all ads for employment say, X preferred or X man, not mandatory, but preferred. I will still entertain a motion for adjournment. Takes a second.
So moved to adjourn.
We're done.
wait, who moved originally?
Kendra, I guess I made the motion, sort of.
You made the motion, Tom. Yep.
Tom
All
and
right,
Ken.
then.
And I will point out that it says it is 7:12. This is
Oh.
2 in a row.
7:12.
Looks like he wants to say something.
No, what? Yeah, I wrote down 7:11. So 7:12.
All right, everybody, thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye,
See ya.
guys.
Bye bye.